Hi, my name is Oliver Gibney from Oliver Gibney Hair Extension Academy, and today we will be assessing and training Stephanie Swain on our live model Kerry on the Hollywood weave method. By the end of the course, we hope that the student would have a full understanding of how to apply and remove a full set of hair extensions in a professional and competent manner. The student should be able to assess the suitability of hair extension methods for each client and judge what suitability and what method the client would be more suited to. The candidate will also have a full understanding of the health and safety within the salon environment and the importance of public liability and personal protective equipment. We're just going to go over now to Stephanie, who are trainees for the day, and just discuss her experience in the hair and beauty industry. Hello, Steph.
Hello.
So if you give us a little bit of insight into what you have done.
Yeah, so I work as a freelance hair makeup artist, and I found a lot of brides recently have been asking about hair extensions, so I've asked Ollie to teach me how to put them in so that I can offer the skill myself.
Brilliant. So we've got a course set out that we've had a little look at together. We've discussed the health and safety within the salon and code of conduct within the salon. So could you just tell us a little bit about what you would want to make sure, what would you need to make sure is safe around the salon before we started?
Yeah, so the basic things I've checked: that there's no wires trailing across the salon, that everything is hygienic and clean, that all the brushes have been cleaned from the previous client.
Good.
And I just made sure it had a very professional environment.
Brilliant. And in regards to personal protective equipment, is there anything that we can do for the client to make sure her clothing and things like that are protected?
Yeah, I'd make sure that the client was gowned up so that nothing would spill on their clothes.
And we'll check the floors for anything.
Yeah, make sure all the floors are dry.
Good.
Like I say, no wires across the floor or any bonds and stuff that they might slip on.
Brilliant. So we discussed a little bit about your experience in the hair and beauty industry. So what we can do today is also talk about your creating a business model for your business and how it would benefit what you do already, and also discuss prices. There's one important thing with the public liability. You need to make sure after this course that you are suitably insured. So we'll discuss that later on. We've already completed a consultation form with Kerry, so we know she's had no problems with alopecia, any hair loss. Also, we've discussed with her that she's not head sore, that there's no issues with her styling her own hair.
Okay.
So that was all fine. The client has been made to sign that because she agrees with everything we've discussed on the form.
Yeah.
So that covers us from a liability point of view. So the health and safety regulations we've had a little look at. We've had a look at the personal protective equipment for us and the client. What do you think we need to check if we're using a ring method? So there may be some metals used in the ring. Do you think we need to check anything with the client about that?
Yeah, I'd check they've got no allergies to any metals.
Good.
And make sure that they're aware that it is metal going in for any kind of styling purposes or hairsprays and things.
Brilliant. So now we're going to discuss with Steph, our trainee, the tools required for the application and removal of hair extensions. So, Steph, would you like to go through some of the tools that we've discussed for the applying of the hair extensions?
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got the clips here to section the hair off. There's a drawing mat with the hair in so that it doesn't get tangled.
Good.
There's the micro rings which have been attached to this tool to get them into the hair. So we just put them on the bottom. And then the pliers to tighten the micro rings into the hair. And we also have a brush to brush through the hair to make sure it's not tangled as we're adding more hair in.
Do you think there's any pliers that wouldn't be suitable for? Do you think it's important to have the correct tools?
Yeah, I think they're good because they bend at the end, they're easy to get around the hair, whereas
Yeah.
if they're too big you might get the skin by accident.
And they're comfortable against the client's head. As you can see, the end of the hair extension tool would sit flush. That's good.
Right.
So the removal of the hair extensions, is there anything in particular that after we've discussed what you need to remove the hair extensions?
So you reuse the pliers to bend the micro rings the opposite way.
Good.
and then trim the string that the extensions are attached to.
Yeah, so you've got your scissors there for that.
Yeah, and then just gently sort of wiggle them out so you're not pulling the client's hair.
Brilliant. If you think that the client is in a bit of discomfort, what do you think you could do? Just, you know...
Either stop for a minute just so they can kind of gather themselves, stop it from pulling on the hair, or just make sure when you're cutting the extensions out you're not pulling as you cut it,
Yeah.
just keep it quite close to the
And
scalp.
also communication with the client all the time, so just ask, you know, is that comfortable? You know, can you feel any tension?
Yeah.
As we discussed before, you know, tension and stuff can cause a big problem with hair extensions, so
Yeah.
you need to always make sure every step of the way that that client is comfortable with them.
Okay.
So that's really going through all the tools and stuff. You've got your brushes that have been cleaned, you've got your clips, you've got your micro rings for this application, you've got your thread and safety needle as well. What did we discuss about the needle, about it being that shape?
So when it bends in as you're pushing it down, you're not going to catch the client's scalp. with
Yeah,
the
so it
end
goes
of
away
needle.
from the scalp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about it for that. So we'll move on now to the colour match with the client. So as we discussed, this client, Kerry, has gone for like more of an ombre look. We've already applied one section of hair in the training just to sort of get to grips of how did you find that? Was that
Yeah, quite simple,
Yeah.
quite easy to pick
quite
up.
fiddly at first, isn't it? But you
Yeah.
get used to it.
Well explained.
So colour matching the client. So Kerry wants to go for more of an ombre look. So obviously she's darker at the roots and blonder on the end. So how would you match Kerry to a set of hair extensions?
So you'd have to make sure the ends were light enough so that when they're showing underneath her hair, you've not got a visible line between her natural colour.
Yeah.
And any...
So we've got Kerry in the chair now, our live model. We've already trained on a dummy head earlier and we've had one go at putting one row of the Hollywood weave in. So Steph can get to grips. How did you find with applying this first row, Steph?
Yeah, it's quite simple. It's fiddly at first, but it's quick to pick up.
Yeah. So what we're going to do first, we've done the client consultation, we've had a look at the client's scalp, we've made sure that the client is suitable for the extension, she's happy to go ahead with the service. So now we need to colour match the client.
Yeah.
So as we discussed before, there's certain ways of colour matching, but because Kerry wants to go for sort of an ombre look where it's dark at the root and blonde at the bottom, how would you colour match this client then?
So make sure the lightest part of Kerry's hair at the ends matches the extensions so that when you've put them in you don't end up with like a line between the darker and the lighter colour.
Yeah, so like a wave line.
Yeah.
Like we discussed, we don't want to end up with a blend where we've got to trim the, shatter the extensions through where we're going to damage or harm the natural hair of the client.
Yeah.
So this has got to be a perfect blend. So I'll just get you to demonstrate now what we showed you how to colour match.
Yeah, so I'm going to lift up a section of Kerry's hair and then just hold the extension underneath so I can see her colour against the extensions.
But so I'd probably lift that section of hair or fold it over again because you don't want the dark piece showing, and I would comb so like this. So fold it over because obviously you're matching the ends of the extension hair because we're going for an ombre
Yeah.
to the ends of Kerry's hair.
Right.
So try and keep the dark out of the way, and then I would use a comb. Put this underneath and comb it through. As you can see, that blends quite well.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really be able to see the extension hair through Kerry's hair, it should just blend.
Okay.
So do you want to have a go at doing that?
Yeah. Thank you. So I'll just lift this hair.
Yeah, so just fold the extension hair in half just so it covers the dark. It's a bit fiddly at first. That's it,
And
brilliant.
Just hold that underneath.
Yes, fantastic.
And just-
So you'll be happy with that colour?
Yeah, blends
Yeah.
nicely.
Brilliant. So, right, so having a little recap. So we've done the, make sure the salon's safe,
Yeah.
make sure you've got all your equipment, make sure that your colour match is right, the client consultation form's been done, the client is suitable and happy to go ahead with the service.
Yeah.
So now we'll move on to the application. So what's the first thing you would do after you've done your colour match? What's the first thing you would do?
Section the hair off
Yeah.
and make sure that the hair kind of dips down there so it's more of a natural blend, and make sure the line's straight so there's no tension when the extensions go in.
Yeah, so it's keeping your sections really clean. Also having a look at the client's hair growth pattern as well, because for instance, if the client had a double crown, you probably wouldn't put them as high.
Right.
So you need to check that all, which we have done. We've had a look at her hair growth pattern, that looks all fine. So what I'll ask you to do is section off this next section, nice and clean, like we discussed, nice shallow loop, so there's no tension caused when the client puts the hair up. So what do we say about the temples as well? You need to make sure it's the same.
Oh, the same distance, say like 1.5 centimetres at each side.
Yeah.
And make sure you're not brought it too far around so there's a bigger gap there.
Yeah. Brilliant. Just remember to communicate with your client as well and make sure she's happy and...
Yeah, feel okay. Yeah.
So why do you think the importance of keeping your sections nice and clean? What's the importance of that?
Just because then when you fit the extensions, if you've got more hair on one side than the side with less hair, there'll be more tension on that side.
Yeah. So what I do as well, good idea, so you know where your first weft has gone in.
Yeah.
So you want to keep a little bit of a gap because you need a safe distance so you can move these hair extensions up and down
Right.
after maintenance appointments. So I just tend to just sort of feel from the parting where you've just taken down, just make sure you've got enough room.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's a safe distance
Yeah.
from extension to extension. Also, what do you think would happen if we built the extension too close? What would it look like from the back?
Oh, it'd have like they've come out a bit.
Yeah, so it would have a bump at the back, so it
Yeah.
would look unnatural. That's a good section. So probably just remember you've got to have enough hair in here as well. So that's why I section off from across the head here, because you need to make sure you've got enough. Yes. So I would just check you've got enough hair either side, and also that you've got enough, because we've got 3 rows going in, remember, so we've got enough room to put 3 rows in.
Right.
A safe distance. So you could maybe just take this a little bit shallower.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
pick
good.
a bit more up.
Yeah, just pick a little bit more up. That's probably better, yeah. Yeah. And also these hair sections as well have all been prepared beforehand. We've measured them to make sure they all are all going to fit okay. So you need to make sure that your section is the right width, that your weft of hair sits nice and flush.
Right.
So you have your
Is that
section,
okay?
yeah, that'd be okay. That's it. So what do we need to do now?
So just check that the length of this
Yeah.
fits around Cherry's head. Okay.
Yeah,
with
so
the
you have to make sure it's
side
nice and central. That's it.
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, right, now we'll demonstrate with the micro ring. So we've got our micro ring and threader.
Yeah.
And what did we discuss about where to start?
Start central and then work your way around the sides.
Yeah, so we want the micro rings the same distance apart all the way around. And also what's important about when we apply the micro ring, what do we need to make sure the micro ring is doing once it's fastened into the hair?
That it's not moving and it's not going off to one side.
Yeah. So what I tend to do is make sure your client legs aren't crossed, so that doesn't alter the, with the heads. Yeah. Also, make sure you're stood up nice and straight, because if you're bent over, then it's not good for your back.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you're looking after yourself in that respect, and also the fact that you will get graduation on the ring if you're not stood up straight. If we get graduation on the ring, what can we do?
Just with the pliers, twist it the other way and either move it to the side or down a bit.
Brilliant. So just reposition it. Also, when we are taking a section, we discussed taking a section in a V.
Yeah.
So that allows the hair in the ring to move up, down, side and side, so there's no tension to the client.
Right.
Also, for every section you make sure you ask the client, when you fasten the micro ring, is that comfortable?
Okay.
So you're not causing any tension. So grab the hair with the left hand, standing up nice and straight, and we apply micro ring, first micro ring. So nice and straight, make sure that's central. Make sure your client's sat nice and straight. So, does that feel alright?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, see that?
Yeah.
Okay, John, okay?
Thank you.
So just like we practice on the dummy head,
Right.
so think about the posture. So, you happy with that section?
No.
Probably take a little bit less hair. It's better.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant. So the hair, what do you need to make sure the hair does? So you've got it in a V section, so what do you want that hair to be able to do?
To make sure it can move.
Yeah, so up, down, left, right. That's it, so it's
Yeah,
comfortable with the
that's
client. That's it, so use your pliers now just to get the tension. Keep the micro ring as close to the head as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Try and get the pliers a little bit further in, so don't use a nibber that you use because they're stronger towards the
Oh, right.
towards the jaw.
And then here.
That's it. Happy with that?
That
Yeah.
really okay?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, next section. That's it. Think about your posture again. That's it. Nice and straight. That's it. So remember where you stood. So you want to be pivoting around the client. So you know you're very, very central to where that bond's going in.
Yeah. Is that okay?
That's good. Those sections are much better now. And your product placement is much better as well. Brilliant, that's good. So they're going to sit nice and flat now.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so Steph has now applied all her micro rings along the parting. So now she's going to go ahead and sew the weft onto the micro rings. So we've checked that all of these are lying flat, that the client is happy.
Yeah.
So we've checked all the way through, make sure the client's happy, she's not sore, and then we're going to sew these on now. So Steph, you've prepared your thread.
Yeah, so I've double threaded it and tied it in a knot at the end.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start by putting the end of the extension on the first bond, going through the stitching first, and then go through under the hair afterwards.
Why do we put it through the stitching first?
Just more secure so that the extension won't move around.
Okay, and what do we do when we attach it to the first micro ring? What would you need to do to make sure that's secure?
So put it through the middle of the micro ring, where the hair is, sorry, through the stitching, and then bring it through, and then once you've done a loop, do almost a bit of a knot to pull it in place.
Yeah, so you want to tie it off a couple of times just so it's secure. That wants to be as flat to the scalp as possible, but just make sure that you're asking your client, communicating with your client that that isn't pulling in any way.
Right.
Where do you think on the weft when you've attached it would be the most what would be the place where the client would probably receive tension?
With the first stitch or the
Just in the whole left. Where would you think that client would be most uncomfortable if you'd stitched it in wrong?
It would be at the sides, because if they're tighter, they're going to drop down and pull.
Yeah, so this is effectively going to hold the weight of
Yeah.
the extension. So this is very important that is nice and straight. So you think about your posture again, make sure your client sat up straight, no cross legs, stuff like that.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's good.
Bit round the end there.
Yeah, so just put that through the weft now. That's it. I'd say we're using the curved needle for what reason?
So it doesn't poke your client in the head when
Yeah.
you're threading it
So
through.
it's always coming away from the scalp.
And then I
That's
tie
it.
the knot in there so it won't come out.
So yeah, so you need to just loop that through now. So that goes through here.
Through the knot.
That's it. So remember with your left hand as well, keeping the tension. That's it. And then what do we need to do with your thread now? Where does it need to be directed? That's it, so you've got the
upwards.
tension. That's it.
Yeah.
And then tie that off again.
Back through the middle.
Yeah. So you can tie this off 2 or 3 times. You'll just start judging as you get sort of into it and more practice.
Not
You'll-
going through the stitch.
That's
Just
okay,
through the
doesn't
hair.
matter as long as you've got it through the stitch. And then bring that back through the cotton again. So through the middle. Brilliant. That's great.
Okay.
Nice. That's it. So we're nearly all the way around the head now, and we're using the cross stitch that we've been taught. So that locks it in from each section. So Steph's doing a good job there. So do you feel the tension and everything's okay all the way around?
Yeah. Yeah, I've
Your
just been
client's comfortable?
holding the end here so I don't lose any tension.
That's good. Good technique.
Just make sure I don't get Kerry's head when I put the needle through.
That's it. And what can you do to make sure the tension is the same all the way around? If you feel like you're losing a little bit of tension, what would you do?
You can just tie off your section halfway across and then start again with the next one, doing it with this technique.
Brilliant. That's it, just lift it over. Brilliant, that's good technique there now. So you're really getting it now. Just takes a little bit of practice. Right, so Steph has now applied her third section. It's looking really good. Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So, client, you're happy with how comfortable it is? Brilliant, you've done a really good job there. So, yeah, we're just giving this a smooth blow dry just to blend every layer in.
Yeah.
No, I think you've done a really good job there. Is there anything you need to ask questions about, or?
So have we put more in, haven't we, because Kerry's hair's thicker, so
Yeah.
if someone's got thinner hair, would you just put a few less in?
Yeah, so obviously these were doubled up. So we've got 3 sections, probably about 150 grams of hair for Kerry's hair.
Right.
Obviously, it's all about growth pattern. It's about the sort of look for the client as well. Because some people just want it for a bit of length, some people want it for thickness.
Yeah.
So just judge each client really. But you're better off having more hair than less, because once you've applied them, there's nothing worse than having, not enough.
Yeah. If you
Yeah. So are you sure about like the maintenance and stuff like that? You know how often they need changing, what you need to advise your client?
It's every 6 weeks.
So every 6 weeks with the micro weave, yeah, I would advise the client to come back, remove the micro rings and reapply, just the same as we've done.
Right.
And a good grade of hair as well should last, quite a while for the client.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that?
And
What is
then they're fine to put heat on the hair.
Yeah, so you can put heat on the hair as long as it's not fibre hair, it's real hair.
Yeah.
Protector spray. We've discussed with the client about aftercare as well, so you want a sulphate-free shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident with the course? Do you feel confident that I trained you how?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. Well, by the end it's not even fiddly at all, it's dead fast and
Yeah.
easy to do.
So you think you'd be able to walk out here and do a client confidently?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
brilliant. That's great. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thanks.